Okay, shall we get on with not doing this? Great. Okay. Alright, can we do this time? Great. Okay, so, I gotta hold this game in another trade.
Capcom versus SNK 2.
EO Mark of the Millennium. So this is like an updated version of whatever. You know, they had like 3, 4 different versions of this shit. I think this was like the last revision of the game, so that's cool. And, I don't know, let's see. Capcom vs. SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium 2001. Developed and published by Capcom. It was released on many systems: arcade, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. So I got it on Xbox. Shit, I can't even remember if this was my initial play where... I don't even know what the hell EO is about. But I find out this way, and it's not very cool. Yeah. And since this is the Xbox version, it was released on February 11th, 2003. You know, Capcom SNK 2, Mark of Millennium 2001, known as Millionaire Fighting 2001 in Japan, is a sequel to the fighting game Capcom vs. SNK. This game was released on Naomi hardware in the arcade. It was later released for the Sega Dreamcast, Japan only, and PlayStation 2, with the GameCube and Xbox receiving an updated version titled Capcom vs. SNK 2
London.
EO. London? Well, they just missed the Olympic Games, I guess.
This battle is
Let's
about
see.
to explode.
And yes, I think I picked Evil Ryu, Ken, and Akuma. So, gameplay, Capcom vs. SNK 2 combines characters and gameplay elements from various Capcom and SNK fighting games, mainly the Street Fighter and the King of Fighters series. Other elements, most noticeably different fighting styles, incorporated elements from other games as well, such as Street Fighter 3, Garou, Mark of the Wolves, and Samurai Shodown series. In contrast to the original Capcom vs. SNK, characters no longer have a specific ratio. Instead, the player can select up to 3 characters in a team and given an amount or ratio up to each as desired. In console versions of the game, players can also choose one-on-one game or a 3-on-3 game in arcade mode with the ratio system removed. Unlike the first game, which was based on the King of Fighters style 2 strength 4-button system of punches and kicks, Capcom vs. SNK 2 is based on the 3 strength 6-button system of punches and kicks. Native to the Street Fighter series, and the SNK characters have been tweaked to fit the 6-button style. The overall system is a derivative of Street Fighter Alpha. However, a number of different fighting styles called grooves, which mimic other Capcom and SNK games, are included in the engine. These dictate both the character's Super GOG system and special techniques such as dashes, running, and guard cancels called subsystems. There are 6 in total, each designated with a letter, along with custom grooves that can be programmed in home versions of the game. Each player designates prior to the match which groove his or her team will use. Characters, I'm not even going to get into it. That's a lengthy list. I'll be here the rest of the video. Development, because Capcom vs. SNK 2 features a roster composed of characters from numerous games and hardware eras, the appearances of several of Capcom's characters have been considered substandard in comparison to the newly drawn SNK characters. Instead of choosing to redraw its characters, Capcom took the approach of reusing old character sprites from previous games and inserting them in among the other characters. The result created a significant disparity, particularly in the case of characters like Morrigan, whose low-resolution sprite from the original Darkstalkers games appears washed out and lacking in detail when compared to Capcom's newly drawn characters, such as Maki, Eagle, Ryu, Ken, and M. Bison. This has led to criticism of Capcom's art department. Capcom vs. SNK EO, is the same game but with minor changes in gameplay and inclusion of an EO easy operation system that allows the player to perform a specific attack by simply moving the right analog stick in a certain direction. Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO also removed the roll cancel glitch that was in the original version. Like all other home versions of the game, CVS2 EO also contains 4 bonus characters: Evil Ryu, Orochi Iori, Shinokuma, Shingoki in Japan, and Ultimate Rugal, God Rugal in Japan. Part of versions of 4 regular characters, Shinokuma and Ultimate Rugal, are the boss fighters, and display tactics typical of bosses from SNK Playmore's fighting games. However, the damage taken by Shinokuma and Ultimate Rugal is increased to balance their above average speed and special attacks.
Live and let die. Fight.
Before selecting a team, the game offers a selection of grooves which change the way a game is played, as well as ACism or GCism groove. GCism simplifies the control scheme originally designed for the GameCube gamepad. In the Xbox version, it's called EOism. In addition, the Xbox version of CVS2 EO also included online play for up to 2 players on Xbox Live, as well as progressive scan 480p support, which was noticeably absent in the PlayStation 2 version. I'm like really, I don't know, do I keep playing? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, where all my buttons are at, because I don't have any attacks. I hope I say, oh, I quit, don't I? Fuck. So, I go through it again. I really don't know what's going on, because I'm really confused. Like, it's like it says all the buttons are in here, and they're all right, but I only have, like, a couple of attacks. And it's like really confusing the shit out of me. And I was really having difficulty editing this video. It would just give me a fucking hassle all around. So I really just kind of skipped through. I looked at the, because it's like about a half hour long for the entire shot I recorded. Maybe I should have stopped recording at a point, I guess. But then again, at the time I recorded this, I probably was like, oh, I'll keep it in mind when I do this. I couldn't remember, though. It's been about a month ago, exactly. Anyway, I want to go ahead. I think I picked the same fucking team. Anyway, reviews. Famitsu gave it a 30... Oh, wait, no. They didn't say anything about Dreamcast. GameSpot gave 8.7 out of 10. GameSpot gave it a 2 out of 5, it appears. IGN gave it an 8.6 out of 10. Game Rankings gave it a 79.9 out of 100. And Metacritic gave it an 80% out of 100. While the game is virtually identical across all 4 consoles, the GameCube version received lower review scores due to the native control scheme of the GameCube controller, not designed for traditional fighting games. In 2011, Complex ranked it as the 11th best fighting game of all time. See, I don't think I really understood the easy operation functionality at this point in playing it. And I could have probably had just 2 videos instead of 3, but that's how the rest will turn out to be. Yeah, and in future videos, I'm thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and, because that's what I've been doing with King of Fighters 2006 and Tekken 4. I go into practice and get some of the moves down pat. Some of them, I don't get everything down pat. Some characters are fucking crazy complex, especially those in Tekken 4. Like, I think the last character I played as, like, you had, like, different positions or postures that you would, move into with a special combination, but then it'd go from there and break off into crazy amounts of combos and this and that, and I really just, I think that character had, like, 130, 40 actual like commands in the command list because I was looking at it, and I really just didn't have the patience to go through them. I wasn't even paying attention when I first started working on that one character, and I'm like, shit, I'm up to like 70 commands now, and then I look at what the full count is, and I'm like, holy shit, okay, fuck that. Let me see if there's anything of importance. Didn't look like there was anything important. Then I just went ahead and played the character. And I could definitely see where it was mentioning about the character models and designs, because they just took the cheap route and didn't, update any of the character models. And Morgan could have definitely used an update to her character model when they did this game, and I'm sure there's several other character models they could have updated as well. But of course, they took the cheap, easy route, and I don't know, at least they focused on the fighting engine, making sure that was on point as far as all that goes.